Hey y'all, John here. Today I want to talk about why your agency doesn't have enough leads. So I talk to a lot of agency owners every month, dozens to more than dozens, and everyone tells me that they need more leads, right? It's the most common thing that people say. They're like, I'm not growing, I need more leads. This is something that I've dealt with for many, many years because I ran a lead generation company called Credo. So in this video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you what I see when I'm doing calls with agency owners, why they're not getting enough leads, and then I want to show you what you can do to get enough leads, right? Pretty straightforward. So those are the three things that we're going to do today. So when I talk to agency owners and we're getting under the hood, we're doing like a strategy call and we're talking about, what they're trying to do. I always get them to write down their numbers. Most agency owners don't know their numbers. So if you're an agency owner and you don't know your numbers, congratulations, you're in good company. Basically, no one does. But you need to know your numbers if you really want to grow. Because if you don't know your numbers, you're not going to go and do activities that are going to grow the numbers because you're not going to know if they're succeeding. And so you're going to give up before you actually see the results, right? Before you actually feel the results. The results are going to be there, but you won't necessarily see them. And they always happen first before we actually feel them. Most agency owners don't know their numbers, but when I get them to put down their numbers and I say, how much are you spending on marketing each month? There's one number that I consistently hear, and that's $500. No matter the size of the agency, it's $500. They're not spending on content. They're not blogging. They're not spending on ads. Basically, their marketing time or their like time for acquiring people is sales calls from like random referrals that they get and maybe doing like a networking call or something like that. So $500. I'm like, that's crazy. And basically, it's like 4 hours at 125 an hour doing sales. And a lot of them don't even include like time that they spend doing proposals. I don't believe in proposals, but most agency owners create them, but they're not even including that time. So, but basically the number is $500 is what everyone is spending. But the problem with this is that it costs a lot more than that to acquire a long-term client. People are like, I need high-paying clients. I'm like, well, how much are you willing to spend? And they're like, I don't know. My rule of thumb is the minimum that you should spend is 10% of the expected lifetime value. So if you make 10K from a client, you should expect to spend $1,000. If you are going to make 100,000, you should be willing to spend up to 10K, right? You're probably going to get it for 3 to 4. But the thing is, you got to be willing to spend money in order to make money, right? It's trite. You've heard it all the time, but it's absolutely true, which is why I'm saying it. So the reason why most agencies don't actually have any leads is because you're not doing anything to actually get leads. You're not creating content. You're not spending on ads. You're not going to conferences. You're not like doing anything. So you can't expect to get results that you haven't done the work for. So the next thing I want to talk about, now that we've kind of established that, and you're probably in that same bucket. If you're not, congratulations, you're one of the few that's actually doing something to get leads. Most people are just growing off of referrals, and that doesn't scale super far. And if you actually want to sell your business someday, trust me, if you actually want to sell your business someday, you have to have a system that works outside of you. That's what I worked really hard on at Credo, and that's why I was able to sell it for a good multiple on the on the SDE, the seller discretionary earnings is what that's called, outside of the scope of this. But so the reason why your business isn't growing is because if you look at the image that I'm going to put on the screen here, there's kind of 3 levels. This is a simple marketing funnel. You know the marketing funnel. You're probably a marketing agency owner if you're watching this. Let's be honest. You know the marketing funnel, but you're not doing it for your own business. So I want to go back to basics to make sure that we've covered exactly what we're trying to do here and why things aren't working for you, and then how you can fix it moving forward. So obviously a funnel, there's 3 levels here, right? You've got your bottom of the funnel, you got your middle of the funnel, and you got your top of the funnel. Referrals are bottom of the funnel. They're like coming to you. It's a recommendation from someone. You should be closing like 80% of those, honestly. If you're not closing 80%, then, we need to work on your sales. So that's bottom of the funnel. And that's where most people stop. And they're just trying to get people at the bottom of the funnel. They're ready to buy from them right now and, spend thousands to tens of thousands of dollars a month with them without even knowing them. And to be honest with you, it's just quite simply a fool's errand. I started professionally in digital marketing in 2010. Yeah, 2010. Started kind of building my audience late 2010, early 2011, right? I'm good at building audiences because I put out a lot of content, right? Like I do the volume. And that's the thing that most people are missing. I talk to someone and they're like, well, LinkedIn's my primary channel. And I look and they have no comments on people that are posting about the stuff that they deal with. They haven't actually shared any content themselves. They have no like articles there. They have no videos there, right? I'm like, I don't know that LinkedIn's your primary channel. Like that might be where people are discovering you, but like, you haven't grown your audience or anything like that. So anyways, that aside, the reason why this channel isn't working for them consistently is because they're not doing the top 2. So they're not doing middle of the funnel and they're not doing top of the funnel. So when I was doing SEO full time years ago, it's like 15 years ago, right? And people come to us and they're like, well, we need more traffic. And at the time I was like, well, you don't just want more, you don't want like unqualified traffic. You want more qualified traffic, right? And they're like, yes, absolutely. Okay, cool. But what I've realized over the years is that as you open up the top of the funnel even more, there are going to be more people in there that are going to be ready to buy now, right? About 10% ready to buy now. Another 20-ish, 30% are going to buy in the next year. And then there's some that are going to stick around for a long time. And about 50% of the people that come to your audience are never going to buy from you. You just kind of have to recognize that, right? And, you provide them value, but I just kind of forget about them, right? But you never know who is in that. So we treat everybody equally. But so middle of the funnel is basically your nurture content, right? And so if you're not putting anything out, not putting out nurture content, any like retargeting stuff, anything, any like, lead magnets, any resources, like, yes, comment X to get Y, sort of thing, get them into your newsletter. If you're not doing any of that, then you're not warming up people that are coming into your world from wherever. But of course, it's kind of a waste to put that stuff together. I always recommend let's build out something initial, kind of a shitty first draft or shitty second draft. It's not shitty, it's not terrible, but we haven't gone and spent a ton of time on it simply because you don't have anyone that's going to ask for it yet, right? So what I like to do is I like to, put together a couple of tools or PDFs or something like that. But then if you don't have a big audience, like at the top, if you have less than say 1,000 followers on any given channel, your problem is not leads. Your problem is audience, right? And you're not doing any volume to get audience, right? So, and you can grow it in many different ways. You can do it by creating a lot of content, right? You can do it through video, through, text. You can do it through video. You can do it through audio. I don't care. Pick the one that you like the most, right? And then if you want to distribute it out to the others, right? Do it specifically for one and then kind of cross post it, right? Buffer exists, right? These different tools exist. So you can absolutely do that. But so many people get hung up on but where should I post it? And how do I carve it up? And blah, blah, blah. You got to start with creating, right? So creating content that your ideal client is going to resonate with, right? That's going to get them to pay attention to you, and then having a way to nurture, that's top of funnel, and then having a way to nurture them, right? And then once you get them down to the bottom of the funnel, then I'm looking over here because the funnel's here, but I don't know. I've seen funnels for 20 years, so I don't know why I'm looking at it, but the bottom of the funnel, that is the one where then we, get them onto a sales call, get them on an intro call, get them into a strategy call, and ultimately try to close them into a client. But let me just wrap this up by saying the reason why your agency doesn't have enough leads, if you're the same as the average agency that I speak with, the reason why you don't have consistent lead flow is because you're not doing consistent actions that earn you that consistent lead flow, right? There's no one funnel, there's no one ad, one message, one creative, something like that you can just plug in and it's just going to work forever and ever and be repeatable, right? This is a system. It is a process, and it is something that you commit to for the long term, and you build the levels of it, right? So, we're not going to go and build out a full, sequence to your email newsletter if you don't have anyone coming into your email newsletter, right? We don't need to go and do that first. We just have a simple hello email, right? Hello, what services does your agency offer? Hello, what products does your e-commerce company, sell? Whatever, right? Try to get a reply from them. But we don't need to go have some 14-step sequence with all these different automations and all this crap, right? We need to focus on the thing that is actually going to move the needle. And for most agencies, it's simply doing anything. I don't care, but it's doing anything to open up the top of the funnel, so that then we can nurture people in the middle and we can bring them down to the bottom, right? People try to build bottom up, but it doesn't make sense to do a lot of stuff in the middle if you have no top, right? So we can split it, right? And so this stuff is going to change over time, where take the referrals and sign them in, great. Just keep doing what you've been doing there, right? Because you're not doing anything. So you're just getting referrals, great. But then we build out a little bit in the middle so that we don't waste the ones that we're getting at the top. And then I go ham on the top of the funnel stuff, right? And it's volume. I was listening to an Alex Hormozi, an older video of his today. I think it's from 2021, where he was talking about a call they did with Grant Cardone. He's talked about this, quite a bit. And I don't care what you think about Alex or Grant, but they're smart, right? Let's just put it that way. They're smart, they're successful. So if you're an entrepreneur, it makes sense to, at least listen to their strategies and tactics. But all that said, Alex paid Grant $100K for a call, or really Layla, Alex's wife, paid Grant $100K for Alex to have a call because Alex wasn't going to spend the money. So they did the call, and basically the story goes that Grant was Alex was trying to figure out how's he get more inbound, right? And Grant was pull up your Instagram, pull up my Instagram. He's got this Texas drawl or whatever. And so Alex did. And Grant was look at yours. And Grant had done 10 posts that day. And Alex had done one. And Alex was like, and then like pulls up YouTube and pulls up all the others. And like Grant was doing 10x the volume. And Alex is like, noted. And so basically he had grown his initial audience by a bit by doing, just being consistent, doing like 3 YouTube videos a week or something like that. But then they basically 10x their volume. They were doing I think they were doing 7 pieces of content a week, and they went to like 80. And they went from 10-ish thousand followers on like different platforms to like, he grew a 1 million-person audience in like 6 months time, because he just started doing a ton of volume. And yeah, there's a lot that goes into it. And like, I'll be honest, I'm personally still trying to figure out like, how do I do that much volume, right? Like I've been really consistent like for quite a while now. I mean, for the last year, I've posted like at least a couple of reels a week on Instagram. I've posted, 4 to 1 week I did 18 posts on LinkedIn. It was too many, but just because my reach, like my reach dropped. So it was too many for like what my audience is right now. But the point is like, it is work to do that much volume. But if you're doing nothing right now, like don't look at Alex doing 80 a week. I think they're doing like 300 a week now or something like that. Like he spends millions per year on content, right? Like you don't need to spend millions per year on content. You need to pull out your phone and you need to record yourself talking about things that people are bringing up to you on sales calls, and share the cool stuff that you're doing and post it publicly. Like you can start there, right? And once you do that, then you get over like hearing your voice on video, you get over the fear of publishing, you get over the fear of looking stupid, or like the fear of looking stupid becomes less, right? Because like you are looking stupid and it doesn't really matter because everybody looks stupid on the internet. Like I probably look stupid to you right now, and that's totally fine. Like I've published this anyways, right? So most agencies don't get leads because they're not doing the actions that they need to do in order to get the leads that they need to have in order to grow their business to achieve the goals that they have for their business. So if you can do volume, you're going to win. If you can just publish anything, you're going to be doing a lot more than your competitors. And that's where it starts. It's the inchworm technique. I think it came from Caleb Ralston, who was head of brand for the Hormozis for a while. I heard Alex talk about it first, but I think it's Caleb's. So basically like you do more and then you do it better, and then you do more and then you do it better. And once you can't do more or better, then you do new. So like pick your channel, pick the type of content that you want to create, and be consistent with it, and just do more, right? Do more, you're going to learn, then you get better as you learn, and then you do more, and then you get better, and then eventually you can move on to another channel. But that's how you grow an agency. That's how that's how you grow leads. And there's so many tactics and strategies within this, which, I teach to my clients, and increasingly kind of leaning into helping people do, or teaching people how to do it, and helping them track the numbers. But this is how you get leads as an agency.